अगर बैठ गया तो उठने का डर है, खड़े रह के ही ठीक है। जितना खतरनाक वक्त दिया गया है उसी में इंशाल्लाह बात को मुकम्मल करें। सलावत पढ़ लें।
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि वस्सलातु ala ahliha. I've left out the khutbah as well to save the time. I was asked to speak about 12th Holy Imam and some of our responsibilities regarding towards him and regarding his regarding the Laybat and regarding when he'll return. So I picked out this advice from Ayatollah Ulama Sheikh Hussain Wahid Khurasani, Hafizahullah alayh. May Allah give him a long life. Some years ago he delivered a series of lectures on the 12th Holy Imam on the occasion of 15th of Shabaan, and he spoke about the responsibilities that we should have towards the Imam. So I'm sharing a part of that advice, inshallah ta'ala, hopefully firstly to myself and then to all of us. He says that there's a hadith of the Holy Prophet of Islam. Al-Mahdiyu Tawusu Ahlil Jannah. The Mahdi is the peacock of the people of Jannah. And he says that the reason why the Holy Prophet of Islam used this example is that the peacock is a beautiful thing to look at. It's something that is very easy on the eye, and people desire to look at it and they admire its physical characteristics. So he says that, and we've mentioned before, those of you who recall that in the Milad a couple of weeks ago I had mentioned that regarding the people of Jannah. So we already know that the people in Jannah will be beautiful.
MashaAllah.
You know, the people in Jannah will be young, they will be beautiful. And out of them, the Holy Prophet Islam is saying the Mahdi is the peacock of Ahl Jannah.
MashaAllah.
That out of the people of Jannah, now the people of Jannah are whom? The prophets, the Shuhada, the Siddiqeen, the Imam, salam. These are the people of Jannah. Out of them, the Mahdi is the peacock.
Wow.
Out of them, the Holy Imam will be the peacock.
MashaAllah.
So he says, well, how do we make sure these are the people of Jannah? How do we make sure that we also become part of the people of Jannah? So he gives a short list of advices of what we should do. The first one he says is that as far as possible we should offer our salat on time. Of course, offering the salat, salatu umud ad-din, at whatever time, within the time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given flexibility. To offer the prayer within that allocated time is obligatory. But to offer it on its prescribed time, of course, has more fadilat. And says to try as much as possible to offer it at its precise time. The example I always give is that when we have an appointment or we're going to work, we always try to arrive early. So to offer the salat at the prescribed time, a person should be prepared before the time or the salat comes in. The second thing he says that make sure you're conscious of the fact of your wajibat, of those things which are obligations and those which are prohibitions against you. And the third thing he says is to make sure you do tawassul to the Imam of the time and Jallallahu Ta'ala Farajushin. Now for that he mentioned something that's actually quite interesting because we just did the Khatm Quran and it's related to the Holy Quran. He says that as far as deen is concerned, as far as religion is concerned, whatever the deen is in the Quran or in the riwayat. Anything outside of this is not deen. Whatever the deen is either in the Quran or in the riwayat. So for that he says Imam Amir al-Mu'minin has a hadith where he says recite at least 50 verses of the Holy Quran every single day.
MashaAllah.
This is the minimum. There's no maximum. As much the more, the better. But the minimum, Imam says, recite 50 verses of Quran each day. If you divide that up, usually if you're looking at this kind of Quran, this big one here, it's about 2 or 3 pages, depending on which surah you're reading. So it's not a lot to ask in 24 hours. He says, the reason why, he gives a reason, I don't know what he says the reason why the Imam says recite 50 verses a day is when you recite any 50 verses from the Quran, it will give you a summary of what the Quran is about. So you will get some of the stories of the Quran, you will get some of the ahkam from the Quran, you will get some of the verses about the i'tiqad in the Holy Quran, some of the verses about akhlaq, some of the verses about stories of the prophets. If you recite 50 verses, you will get a cross-section of what the Quran is about. Then he says, now this is the climax of what he's saying. So he says, now when we do something, whenever we do an action, we're always wondering whether this action is accepted or not. Because doing an action is one thing, making sure that the action is accepted is something else. He says, well, I'll give you some things for you to know that there is a guarantee that your action of reciting the Quran will be accepted. This is, what is this? He says, whenever you recite these 50 verses, when you complete its recitation, give it as a hadiyah to the 12th Holy Imam. When you give it as a hadiyah to the 12th Holy Imam, it will go straight to the arsh. Not an angel would have the audacity to reject that recitation.
Wow, MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
Not an angel would have the audacity to reject the recitation which has been given as a gift to the Mahdi. So he says, recite this and gift it to the 12th Holy Imam to make sure that it's accepted. Then he says, now what is this? What is the status of those? Final thing to say. What is the status of those who are living in the time of the Ghaib? So he narrates this hadith from our 4th Holy Imam, who, and this hadith is mentioned in Kamaluddin wa Tamamun Ni'ma of Shaykh Suduq alayhi rahmah, a book which was written on the instruction of the 12th Holy Imam. Says, what's the hadith? He says the hadith is, whosoever whilst living in the ghaibat adheres to the wilayat of the 12th Holy Imam and he dies during that time. What is his status? He says his status is that, 4th Holy Imam says his status is that who lives and dies in the time of the ghaibat, adhering to the wilayat of the 12th Holy Imam, his status is, his reward is that of 1,000 shuhada who died in Badr and Uhud.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
1,000 shuhada who died in Badr and Uhud. Now I think I have some minutes still remaining. I have some minutes remaining. So to become part of the sawab of reciting some ash'ar as well for the 12th Holy Imam, recite salawat ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Ek baar aur salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Imam Salamullah alayhi के शान में कि नज़र गुम है, नज़ारों को बड़ी तकलीफ होती है.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
नज़र गुम है, नज़ारों को बड़ी तकलीफ होती है, बगैर उनके बहारों को बड़ी बगैर उनके बहारों को बड़ी तकलीफ होती है. तलब कर ले हमें या खुद ही पर्दे से चले आए. तलब कर ले हमें या खुद ही पर्दे से चले आए. हुजूर अब جانثاروں کو بڑی
بڑی
تکلیف
تکلیف
حضور اب جانثاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، وہ خود ہی دیکھ لیں جب چاند چھپ جاتا ہے بدلی میں، وہ خود ہی دیکھ لیں جب چاند چھپ جاتا ہے بدلی میں، چمکنے میں ستاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، چمکنے میں ستاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے۔ اور قابل غور ہے کہ امام عصر کو جب بھی غریب آواز دیتے ہیں، امام عصر کو جب بھی غریب آواز دیتے ہیں، کئی سرمایہ داروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، کئی سرمایہ داروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے۔ الہی بھیج دے پردے سے اب دانائے سلونی کو، الہی بھیج دے پردے سے اب دانائے سلونی کو، کہ اب قرآن کے پاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، کہ اب قرآن کے پاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے۔ اور سنبھلے دل علی کی ذات ایک راز مشیت ہے، سنبھلے دل علی کی ذات ایک راز مشیت ہے، سنا ہے رازداروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، سنا ہے رازداروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے۔ اور غزل کے رنگ میں یہ شعر دیکھیے گا کہ تیرے بیمار غم کو تجھ سے بس اتنی شکایت ہے، تیرے بیمار غم کو تجھ سے بس اتنی شکایت ہے، کہ اب تیمارداروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، کہ اب تیمارداروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے۔ اور آپ سب لوگوں کے لیے شعر کے مؤذن جب علی کے ذکر سے دامن بچاتا ہے، مؤذن جب علی کے ذکر سے دامن بچاتا ہے، مؤذن جب علی کے ذکر سے دامن بچاتا ہے، تو مسجد کے میناروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، اور ستاروں کی طرح ہیں کل کے کل اصحاب پیغمبر، یہ سن سن کر ستاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، سن کر ستاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے۔ اور نبی کے تخت پر جب دیکھتے ہیں کم معیاروں کو، نبی کے تخت پر جب دیکھتے ہیں کم معیاروں کو، غدیری شہریاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے، غدیری شہریاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے۔ اور آغا سروش صاحب کا یہ کلام ہے کہ سروش اب کربلا سے ہٹ کے کوئی بات مت کرنا، سروش اب کربلا سے ہٹ کے کوئی بات مت کرنا، غزل میں استعاروں کو بڑی تکلیف ہوتی ہے۔ اللہ تعالیٰ صلوات پڑھنے والا